The Kansas City Friends of Alvin Ailey came together for the purpose of putting forth Alvin's vision for dance, which essentially was to bring dance out of the theater houses in Kansas City into the community centers, into the hospitals, into the prisons.
My name is Allan Gray, and I'm from Kansas City, Missouri. Alvin, first and foremost, was a dear, dear friend, someone who I loved, trusted, encouraged. He was someone who changed my life. After meeting Alvin and having what we would call dream sessions, Alvin would call me at 3 o'clock in the morning, and he would be on the other side of the world. And he would always say, "Allan?" And I say, "Yes." He says, "Were you asleep?" And I'd always say, "No," And what would ensue were conversations about what Alvin was thinking, what he was feeling, what he was fearing, what he was anticipating, but most importantly, what his vision was and his dream. And after a point, I realized that he was actually planting the seeds for what he wanted me to do with his dance and with his vision. And so the first evidence of that was the Kansas City Friends of Alvin Ailey. I founded that. Alvin was, when I met him, a bit frustrated that he had created this incredible company, but he also wanted to work with the children in communities and their parents. He wanted to make sure that his legacy was, in addition to these incredible ballets, performances that he created, that his legacy was about the very foundation of our community. People fail to realize sometimes that Alvin was he was many things. Of course, he was an artistic genius, but he also was a civil rights leader. Alvin created a company that had never been seen before, and that company, the basis of that company, were the stories of Black people, of slaves, of social workers, of the housemaids, the individuals who had been left and cast aside by society, who had been told all their lives that their value was something less than the rest of the world. And he put those stories and those people, those dancers, up in front of crowds and audiences all around the world to see, and to make those stories come to life. And so Alvin was able to take that and turn something that was seen as ugly into something that was beautiful, something that was transformative to the world. So Alvin and I would dream, and that was part of the beauty of our relationship. As I look back, he was giving me those things so that when I stood before a crowd of people, or people asked, "Well, who was Alvin Ailey?" I was prepared to say who he was and what he stood for. And so the story could continue. So generations to come were able to know who he was as a man. And that's what's so incredible about this exhibition. It has an honesty about it. It's not just about choreography, but it's about who Alvin was. The genius, the rough edges that were Alvin, and you had to love that to love the genius. So I would thank him for preparing me for the journey that I continue to be on. I would thank him for all that he left behind, his notes, the stories, the ability to create lasting relationships that have true meaning and depth in my life. And that has enabled me to, all these years, maintain the organization in Kansas City, to take on extraordinary projects.